Good afternoon and welcome to Foreigndesk on Benue television. My name is Winifred. So, on the headlines, Kenyan court suspends police ban on protest. Russian prosecutor seeks 18-year sentence for U.S. journalist. Plus, Italian journalists pay 5,000 euros for mocking Prime Minister's height. A Kenyan court has suspended the police ban on protests in the capital, stating that citizens have a right to demonstrate peacefully. Before the High Court's decision on Thursday, police had barred protests in Nairobi indefinitely, saying they lack leadership that would ensure peaceful demonstrations. The judge issued a conservatory order to prevent the ban from being enforced, pending a final ruling on the case. The court said it will hold another hearing on July 29th. The suspension came before a planned protest in which demonstrators were expected to march to the president's office calling for his resignation over poor governance. The acting police inspector general Douglas Kanja said in a statement that the lack of leadership had made it difficult to enforce safety protocols. Kenya has seen a month of protests that started with calls for legislators to vote against the controversial finance bill, which was proposing higher taxes amid a cost of living crisis and ballooning public debt. According to the Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights, at least 50 people have died since the protests began on June 18th. President William Ruto said that he would not sign the finance bill that was passed by Parliament on June 25th, the day protesters stormed and set fire to part of the building, prompting legislators to flee. The president last week dismissed almost his entire cabinet, and that Attorney General, as demanded by protesters who accused ministers of incompetence, corruption, and display of opulence. Experts said a massive technology outage has disrupted businesses and institutions in multiple countries, throwing airports, airlines, rail companies, government services, banks, stock exchanges, supermarkets, telecoms, health systems, and media outlets into chaos. The cause of the outage was not immediately clear, but it came out after Microsoft said it was addressing an issue affecting access to Microsoft's 365 apps and services. Some experts attributed the disruption to CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity firm whose software is used by industries around the world to protect against hackers and outside breaches. The problem appears to result in crashes of machines running the Microsoft Windows operating system. CrowdStrike said in a recorded phone message that it was aware of reports of Microsoft's Windows operating system crashing. The company had reported that the issue was related to its Falcon sensor product, engineers identifying a content deployment problem. At the time of reporting, some of the malfunctioning business companies and computer app systems were beginning to return to normal service, including Sky News in the United Kingdom, which was down for an hour in the morning. The outages ripple far and wide, with transport systems around the world among the hardest hit. According to an update by the Federal Aviation Administration in the United States, major airlines Delta, United, and American Airlines were grounded on Friday morning due to a communication issue. In Australia, flight information screens at Sydney Airport went blank. The airport said that flights were arriving and departing, but that travelers could expect delays. Melbourne Airport said that check-in procedures from some airlines had been affected. Bavarian police said a 22-year-old Serbian man has been arrested in France a week after the fatal stabbing in Germany of a 74-year-old man named locally as former Rolls-Royce car designer Ian Cameron. The police said that after a public manhunt, the suspect had been located in a flat to the northeast of Paris and arrested by French special forces on Thursday. Police later released an image of the suspect taken in a local supermarket before the killing. They said the man had been in the hatching area for several hours. Ian Cameron, 74, moved to the lakeside village of Hatching 11 years ago. Cameron was reportedly attacked last Friday night at his home in Hatching, southwest of Munich. Former Rolls-Royce colleagues have said they are deeply shocked by what happened. Police have not suggested why he might have been targeted. The suspect is thought to have escaped on foot, and police warned the public not to approach him themselves. A red backpack was later found next to the lake, and other objects were found during a search of woodland close to the victim's house. In a statement Friday, Bavarian police said that after a week-long manhunt, a suspect had been detained. The chief executive of Rolls-Royce Motor Cars, Chris Brownridge, said this week that his thoughts were with Ian Cameron's family and friends. Let's take a quick break. Foreigndesk will be back with more stories. Do stay with us. Welcome. A Russian prosecutor is seeking an 18-year sentence for American journalist Evan Gershkovich, who has been charged with espionage. The 32-year-old correspondent for the Wall Street Journal paper is the first Western journalist in Russia to be arrested on espionage charges in post-Soviet Russia. Gershkovich is accused by prosecutors of gathering secret information about Uravzagved, a plant manufacturing tanks for Russia's war in Ukraine, on the orders of the CIA. The reporter, his employer, and the United States government denied the allegations, saying that he was just doing his job, with accreditation from Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Kremlin has provided no public evidence for the spying allegations against him, saying only that he was caught red-handed spying on the tank factory. He was detained in March 2023 on a reporting trip and then spent almost 16 months in Moscow's notorious Lefortovo prison. The trial is a closed-door hearing. Closed trials are standard in Russia for cases of treason or espionage involving classified materials. Gershkovich's trial has moved rapidly since the first hearing in late June, with the prosecution and defense teams giving their final arguments on Friday. Other similar cases in Russia have dragged on far more slowly, with several weeks or even months between hearings. Tensions are running extremely high between the U.S., Gershkovich's birth country, and Russia, the country of origin of his parents, over Moscow's role in the military invasion in Ukraine. For Washington, his arrest was primarily a bargaining chip for Russia to secure the release of its nationals convicted abroad. Israel's parliament has passed a resolution that overwhelmingly rejected the establishment of a Palestinian state. The resolution passed in the Knesset with 68 votes in favor and just 9 votes early on Thursday. It said that the Palestinian state would pose an existential danger to the State of Israel and its citizens, perpetuate the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and destabilize the region. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition with far-right parties co-sponsored the resolution. Opposition leader Yair Lapid's center-left party left the session to avoid supporting the statement, despite previously saying he favored the two-state solution. Mustafa Bongati, the Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative, slammed the passing of the resolution. The Oslo Accords, which were first signed between Palestinian and Israeli leaders in 1993, called for a viable and sovereign Palestinian state living side by side with an Israeli state. But Israel has continued to adopt policies such as building illegal settlements on Palestinian lands across the occupied West Bank and a complete blockade of Gaza. Palestinian Authority official Hussein al-Sheikh condemned the resolution in social media, saying the Knesset's rejection confirms the racism of the occupying state and its disregard for international law and international legitimacy. Its instance on the approach and policy of perpetuating the occupation forever. A Milan court Thursday ordered the journalist to pay Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni damages of €5,000 for making fun of her in a social media post. The journalist Giulia Cortesi was also given a suspended fine of €1,200 for a jibe on X in October 2021 about Meloni's height that was defined as body shaming. Meloni took legal action against Cortesi after the two women clashed on social media. Meloni, whose far-right Brothers of Italy party was in opposition at the time, took exceptions when Cortesi published a marked-up photo of her with a picture of the late fascist leader Benito Mussolini in the background. Cortesi called can appeal against the sentence, and Meloni's lawyer said the Prime Minister would donate to charity any damages she eventually receives. Let's take another quick break. We will be back shortly. Do stay with us. Nice to know you're still there. The United States military has said its mission to install and operate a temporary floating pier off the coast of Gaza to bring humanitarian aid to Palestinians has ended. The $230 million trouble porn pier had to be removed repeatedly from Gaza's shore because of poor weather conditions since its initial installation in mid-May. U.S. military officials said on Wednesday that the pier had achieved its mission despite United Nations estimates that 96% of Gaza's population is food insecure, and 1 in 5 Palestinians, or about 495,000 people, face starvation amid Israel's 9-month war on the territory. Aid groups had criticized the 370-meter floating structure as a costly distraction, saying the U.S. should have concentrated on pressuring Israel to allow more aid through Gaza's land borders. The UN and aid groups said given the dire situation, land transport routes were the only effective option to address the level of humanitarian need in war-torn Gaza. U.S. President Joe Biden, who announced the construction of the pier in a televised address in March, had expressed disappointment in its performance as it repeatedly broke free of the shore, causing interruption to its operations. Bangladesh has suspended some mobile internet services, with police firing tear gas at student protesters as violent clashes over civil service hiring quotas continue to rock the country. The nationwide protests, which have killed at least 9 people and injured more than 500 this week, show no signs of abating on Thursday, with authorities blocking mobile services across most of the South Asian country. Zonaid Ahmed Palak, the junior information technology minister, said mobile internet had been temporarily suspended owing to various rumors that the unstable situation created on social media. He that added services would be restored once the situation returned to normal. On Thursday morning, police fired tear gas canisters at students near BRAC University in the capital, Dhaka. Tear gas was also deployed against stone-throwing students who blocked a mid-highway in the southern port city of Chittagong. The unrest continued after students called for a nationwide shutdown Wednesday evening, with the support of the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP, whose headquarters have been raided by police. Let's now join Loretta Oko for the weather report.
A beautiful Friday to you out there, and here is the weather report. The sky will remain very cloudy, but also with several sunny periods all through the day over parts of Makudi, Otupo, Boko, Katsina. Temperatures low around 28 degrees Celsius and high around 37 degrees Celsius. Humidity of 46% with 21% probability of precipitation. The unstable weather with risk of light rain and outbreaks of thunder will die away during the day in the Federal Capital Territory, and the possibility of rain at the start of the evening towards the night hours. Temperatures low around 25 degrees Celsius and high around 33 degrees Celsius. In Sokoto State, we anticipate light passing clouds that do not affect the sunny periods all through the day. Temperatures vary between 30 degrees Celsius low and 42 degrees Celsius high. And that's it from here. Do join us again for another package. I am Loretta Oko.
Thank you, Loretta. And that ends Foreigndesk this afternoon. But before we go, let's take a recap of the top stories. Kenyan court has suspended police ban on protest. We told you Russian prosecutors sought 18-year sentence for U.S. journalist. We intimated you that Italian journalists to pay 5,000 euros for mocking Prime Minister's height. On behalf of our crew, thanks so much for watching. My name is Winifred Yosu. Keep watching Benue Television.